Welcome everybody to my Tuesday chess stream here at Lee Chess and Twitch. My name on Twitch is Slaggy, or Slaggy, however you prefer to pronounce it. Slaggy. If you're Hungarian, you say Slaggy. It's alright. So, we're going to be playing some blitz and classical chess. Good morning, everybody. Or good evening. If it's in the United States and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, you're probably feeling fresh right about now. Saddest Troll, what's up? You ready to play some chess 960? Guys, we had a good night's sleep last night. We feel better. Yesterday I was a little bit tired. Still, I'm a little bit asleep, but I feel good. We love the morning streams here. International Master William Paschall. We're playing on leechess.org under our handle Sparkle Horse. It's not a brony thing. Saddest Troll, what's up? You ready to start? He's here. Comrades. Hello, comrades. I still can't really get used to chess 960. I like it, but it's still odd to me. So we have this rook on the starting square, knight on the starting square, bishop on the starting square on the king side, and the queen on the original starting square. So that's 4 out of 5, no, 4 out of 8. I've got my math all organized here. 4 out of 8 pieces on the original starting square. And, you know, I love the symmetrical every time. This bishop is terrible. Big problem. I played d4. Maybe I should have thought about that when I played d4. Not to make a move that, like, blocks the bishops really brutally. What else could we have done? I mean, a double fianchetto type thing. Maybe I'll have to just play with a Zukertort type bishop on a1 here. Alright. So when I say Zukertort, I mean the Coley Zukertort system with d4, knight f3, e3, b3, bishop d3, a3 type of setup. Looks like a viable option for white. We do have to watch out for knight e4, hitting f2, which is not that easy to protect. So this might be an original, kind of original setup with my bishop on f1, knight on d3. Maybe the bishop d3 would be the best square for the bishop itself. My knight would be hemmed in forever. So my pieces should go out, knights first, bishops, then rooks and queen. I mean, this is typically how you develop the minor pieces in chess. I don't want the bishops to get in the way of the knights. Coordination is probably the most important factor in chess 960. Welcome everybody, what's up? Saddest Troll. Usually only losing by time. Yesterday you played a good game against me, it was equal. And lost on time. Bishop e7, bishop e2. I guess I could play g3, but it's a little bit weakening my position. Here, if I could move my queen up, we could castle king side. The thing is, it's not really a good square for the queen because of knight e4. Knight c4 as well. Bit of an issue here. b3 also weakens my, I don't know whether to call it my king side or my queen side. This is really both. This is my king side and my queen side over here. Royal Python 1. Good to see you in the chat, Royal Python. How's everything going? Wow, I just don't know what to do. He's almost completely symmetrical here. The problem is b3. Maybe if b3, then I play b3, knight b5, then I play queen d2. We'll find a way to work this out. If there's no threat of knight e4, then I can play queen d2. If knight b5 looks like a bad move strategically because He's asking me, he never did this before, he's asking me on the stream if knight f6 is a good move. Not on the stream, on leechess.org. You've never asked me before my opinion on a game. What do you think about the Koley-Koltanowski system, Satis Troll? Actually, it's a good opening for white. d4, knight f3, e3, bishop d3, b3, a3, bishop d3. We've got a similar formation, kind of like the Queen's Indian with white. So what's the news, guys? I didn't follow the Olympiad from yesterday. Had a kind of busy day yesterday, couldn't follow the chess world. I'm sure not too much eventful happens in like the first 4 rounds of the chess Olympiad. Then things start to get interesting. Wow, Royal Python got married on Saturday and he's still recovering. Yeah, recovering from... Wow, congratulations, man. Recovering from... Yeah. I don't want to go there. Alright, bishop e7. No, that's great. Still recovering. I'm recovering... You might be recovering for a while. Bishop e7, bishop e2. Alright. Not going to discuss my personal life here on the stream. Alright, bishop to b2. Yeah, I was going to ask you, but then I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't. You know, you never know, like, maybe it got canceled. Alright, better be safe than sorry, you know. Comes to, like, wondering about people. Congratulations, man. Well, I knew it's been a long time since you've been here. So, you were on vacation too, I suppose. I've still got to get used to this morning streaming. Guitar player, bruh. Fortuit Folier. I don't know if that's if I'm pronouncing that right. I know that I've tried it before. 94. Alright. Well, I mean, that looks a little bit like you're inviting me to play 95. But who does that benefit, ultimately? You're stopping me from playing queen e2. I can castle queenside. Again, I don't know whether to call it queenside or kingside. It's driving me crazy. Is that my queenside or my kingside? We can't call it anything anymore. I don't know how to identify the sides of the board in Chess 960. It's no longer clear which is the king side and which is the queen side. What's the etiquette? Can I still call it the king side and the queen side? I really don't know. But 95 looks like very tempting, and then at the same time it looks sort of like... I'm not sure it's even a good move, because it's just going to get kicked out itself later on. If I'm really a wimp, I could play knight d2 here. That looks lame. What are the options to just let his knight sit there and dominate on e4? Play knight e5, let him play knight d6, and then get kicked out of e5. Or something equally weak like queen e1. Alright, I don't really like it, but I don't know what to do here to just let his knight sit there on e4 like a vulture. Guitar player, bro. Just a spot. What's up, guys? Knight e4. Okay, this is different now. You played knight f6. Now I don't mind playing f3. Keep this knight on f6 where it is. And we're going to get this guy out of e4. Why did the game seem so much more blocked in Chess 960 than in normal chess? Can't get open games in chess 960 for some reason. I don't know what it is. I'm just the openings I choose or something. There's no open games. It's like always this really locked maneuvering struggle. Sean Shaw 007, I hope you slept well last night. I slept better. But unfortunately, I'm still a little sleepy. But I'm much more rested than yesterday. Back again, you're not trading. I don't know about that decision. I mean, it seems a bit weird to play knight back to d6 now. But my knight on d2 is really bottled up. So there's your justification, I suppose. Keep wanting to castle kingside. I've got to watch knight f5. Justice bot, man. 4 a.m.er. You're not. You're like, it's like what, 3 a.m. there? What time zone are you in? Mountain time? I don't even know. Is it like 2 a.m. where you are? Rook g8, I like this move. Wow. Getting off the long diagonal, preparing to play like g5, g4. Interesting. Alright. If you're going to attack me over there, then I'm going to change my mind and castle. What is it again? Queenside or kingside? It's driving me crazy, guys. I cannot name the side of the board in chess 960. It's 2 a.m. for guitar player. I guess it's the same for Justice Bot. That's not too bad. But if you guys are staying up till 4 in the morning, you're just too hardcore. You have insomnia like me. 6 p.m.ers. You mean a.m.ers. Well, I sleep at 5 a.m. Sometimes I do, but it's not by choice. Man, that's a lot of knight moves. How many times are we going to move the knight here? It's getting a little bit out of control. Open the game with c4. I'm not really sure I want to do that. I just don't know what to do. Grab some space. Grab some space. It seems like Black is willing to give me some space here. I don't know if this is good. Debatable. My intention was to play c4, but then I kind of chickened out because he can like take and play c5. But actually that shouldn't be so bad for me. Now we're just taking wholesale space. I think knight f5 is like really a concrete mistake. Giving me a lot of space for free on the king side. You end up staying up till 5. Yeah, the last weeks have been crazy for me sleeping wise too. I don't know whether jet lag is gone or not, but it's been really pretty crazy the last few days. I feel like, speaking of hours and time, Satistrol's getting a little faster. Is it my imagination? Or is he starting to play faster? I noticed this kind of yesterday. I had the feeling he's playing faster. Maybe it's my imagination, but it just feels like I was always a little ahead on the clock pushing him, and it feels like I'm getting pushed. Like the pace is being controlled by Satistrol on the clock. Maybe he's making a conscious effort to play faster. So we call this the Cully-Zukertort system. I don't know what to call it, and I don't know what side my king is castled on. If that's the king side or the queen side, you guys let me know. We can have a vote on it. So we got just wholesale space advantage, which looks good at this point. I don't know what to do. Don't know what to do, but it's looking like Black's trying not to, you know, make any weaknesses or create any kind of chances for me by not really doing much of anything. And I'm just trying to grab some space if he's going to give it to me. But neither side making any blatant positional mistakes. I think the knight f5 was pretty wasteful as far as time is concerned. Troll has just given me a free hand with a space advantage on the right side of the board. The port side, let's just call it by like boat terminology. It will be like the port side and the aft, or no, the aft is the back. We just use like ship terminology because I don't know where the king side and the queen side are. The port side looks a little bit stronger here for me. Are you accepting 960 games today? Yeah, just 2 though, because if we do more than that, we're playing more chess 960 than normal chess. So we only play about 10 or 11, maximum 12 games in a stream. So I think we'll set the limit at 2 as usual for chess 960s. No other wild games, please. I just am not sure. Well, now he's starting to use time. That's a good sign. And maybe my own king should go to a1. Kind of trying to fight for the c4. There's this battle going on for c4, it seems like. Key point. Play g6. I was always going to play g5. G5 is kind of risky. Oh man, I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do. I really don't know. I'm at a complete loss. Guys, help me out. What do I do? This position is driving me nuts. What am I going to do? Make a random move? Alright. That I don't have to think about too much. Why did I move that knight? Okay, that was the dumbest move ever. Knight f1. I mean g1. I meant to play the other knight to f3, and then I'm like maneuvering. He loses on time. Alright, this is a stupid move. I should play knight f3 here, although that diminishes my control of c4. White's better, but it's not like anything earth-shaking. I can't play another game like this, really, guys. It's just too much closed position for me. I don't think I can handle this anymore. Maurice Ashley is not a real player. Alright, we don't have Saronche here today, because he's taking the day off. It's a good thing he showed up, guitar player, bro. Thank you for that. Troll control. You adore the symmetry. I'm just going nuts with the closed positions, guys. I just can't really deal with it. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't used to really draw like distinction in my mind when I was learning chess, but it seems like lately I'm just much more happy in like open games than I am in closed positions. It never really occurred to me until the last couple of years that the closed positions are very difficult to play in blitz, especially. All right, Maurice should concentrate on the Olympiad instead of hosting here. What does Maurice have to do with the Olympiad? Is he doing some kind of commentary again? Free trade agreement. Free trade agreement. My score 3-1. I don't remember playing. I mean, vaguely, but I don't remember your rating being up that high. Are you 2278? Wow. Free trade agreement. We played 4 games in Blitz. It must have been a while ago. Alright, so free trade agreement. Dr. Checkmate, what's up? You completed the Colorado Open with a 2 out of 5 score. You used my analysis on the Scandinavian Keel variation. Oh my god, that's pretty dated. Well, I hope it worked out for you. Yeah, that's a funny variation. Although I'm not really remembering now. It was like 5 years ago when I did that. At least. Man. Yeah, that's a funny variation to play. I don't think I would play it in a long game. Guys, e4, d5. Pawn takes pawn, knight f6. And where am I? d4, knight takes d5, c4, knight b4. It's a really weird line. You would have if you didn't screw it up. So Gladys Troll says, turning off the stream. Maurice is the coach of Ivory Coast? What? Really? That is so bizarre. Why not? I wouldn't think they'd have enough money to pay Maurice. Knight c3. They have Ivory, right? So they probably have some money. They couldn't afford Pandolfini, but they can afford Maurice. Judith Polgar is the coach of the Hungarian's women team. Am I right in seeing that? Bishop d2. What? Yeah. What am I doing? Okay. b6 d6. Something about this position. Knight c3. I don't know why I'm so freaked out here. I haven't castled yet. Normal position. Why not Jamaica? He's of Jamaican heritage. I didn't realize that. I did not know that. Yeah, Jamaica. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't think Maurice has any connection to the Ivory Coast. E4. Hey guys, we got to get the move order right here because I played a lot of these games with people and it's a game against Victor Erdos where I put my knight on c6 too early was a disaster. Erdos, Victor, Doctor. Maybe knight fd7 here or knight on bd7. Knight on bd7, e5, take, knight g4, queen e2. That looks... I'm just trying to remember analysis here. Why this e5 isn't good for white. Maybe I need to castle first. I don't really see how that makes a big difference, but it might. I think castling's good. Then we can decide how to set up to try to play e5. Free trade agreement. using no time. We have 2 draws and 2 lost, 2 wins against this guy. But free trade, I'm sorry, I don't remember these games when they were. It was quite a while ago. You were 2200 even then, though, so your rating hasn't really changed. Deep psychological discussions. Yeah, I don't know what to say, guys. Okay, now we're back into kind of territory I remember. Bishop d3. Erdos Victor played queen c2 against me, I think. h3. h3 is a move that I like to see. I guess it's not so bad. Non-threatening, non-violent moves are my favorite kind. Alright, so we're going to give up the center here, but we've got white with a somewhat rickety looking formation. I mean, this formation, generally speaking, I would say it looks a little bit, could have some weaknesses. He doesn't want to make too many more weaknesses. The problem is he's not using any time at all. Free trade agreement, it's kind of looking like an alt account or something. He's got just these games. 2278 from Australia. We kind of like to know who our opponents are. Saranchi said Netherlands, Belarus today on board 2. Board 2? Serbia, board 3. USA, Serbia. I don't mean... Wow, Netherlands, board 2? Wow, that's pretty good, man. What do they have, like a perfect score? Do they have almost perfect score? I would think it had to be pretty close. Time, brah. Serbia, USA. Serbia doesn't really have any heavy hitters on their team. I haven't seen the lineup, but although a traditionally strong chess country, they don't really have any monsters, you know, to compete against the likes of the American Dream Team there. I mean, everybody's a good player, but no super GMs, you know. They're a little short of super GMs in Serbia. Knight back now. Do I want to play bishop f8? I try to turn every kind of Bogo Indian into the King's Indian if I can. That's the goal. Get the bishop out on b4, bring it back to f8. Just kind of fake them out, you know. Bishop f4. Free trade agreement is all about making perfect moves. He's got no blitz and bullet games, but I have a feeling that that's more his genre. What is going on here? Problem is knight e5 doesn't really work. Queen c7. Don't really like putting my queen there. So why do it? I don't know, it feels like everybody plays the opening perfectly. Rook e1. Now what? Now what do we do? Queen b6. Then rook b1. Just running out of time here. It's so irritating. No, tough position. Really, there's not a lot of time to talk. The average rating of the USA team, 2,700. Do you not like Bogo Indian? I don't like giving out my bishop for nothing. That can happen in a Bogo Indian. And I was talking to one of my students about it yesterday who's interested in learning, how to play against d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3. And I was trying to explain the difference between the Bogo Indian and the Queen's Indian. It seems like the Queen's Indian, this isn't really an issue, but in the Bogo Indian, giving up your bishop for really basically insufficient kind of compensation, it's a real issue. Wow, he just grabs instantly on d6. Man. Okay. Hopefully we just surround this pawn on d6 here. Easier said than done. Free trade agreement, just taking the pawn. I was going to play queen a7, then I realized b4 just wins for white. So I don't know what to do there. White's play is pretty impressive so far, especially his time usage. He's made the last move with no thought whatsoever. e5, bishop takes d6. Now rook b1. But I'm not sure about that move. Yeah, there's this knight a4 idea though. Alright. Knight d4 I didn't really expect. He's going to sack a piece with knight b5. free trade agreement looks, it's got to be an alt account. He's got bullet blitz style with no games, and bullet and blitz. Very, very fast. Practical. He's not trying to play perfect moves. He's trying to stay ahead on the clock with good moves. Wow, why don't I play... Rook takes or knight takes? Maybe rook takes. Trading a dangerous piece off with a threat at d6. This guy is scaring me. I'm surprised he's got no wins against me. We got 4 games, and he's making me suffer in this game. I feel like it's a strong player. With 2 draws, I cannot recall those games. We've been streaming since February, so there's definitely some games I don't remember. Alright, now, how can I surround this guy? Oh, okay. At least win our pawn back, hopefully. Knight a4. What's up with knight a4? Dude, hung a rook. You scared me with rook a1. I was like, oh no, I didn't see that. Too fast. What happened? Well, it's not rated, at least for you, but man, I think you just played a little too fast. Too much focus on the time element. You played well, but alright. Yeah, that was not a successful opening, really. I thought I was okay at some point, but guitar player. We had that game yesterday. I was totally wrong about that idea with knight b4. It's been played in a couple of games already. We had this knight takes e4 line of the 2 knights defense, and I said that knight b4 was a novelty, but it's not. I really swear I was like looking at it earlier in the week, and there were no games I could find, and now I found like 2 or 3 or 4 games where knight b4 was played. So I was claiming it was kind of novelty yesterday, but it wasn't. Alright, Spanish game. Your turn. Shansha, is it your turn? Dude, are you serious? Are you sure it's your turn, Shansha? I just went in the line. I mean, nobody said they were like lost their place, so I didn't really pay attention. But I'm happy to put you next in line, Shansha, if you're sure you're next. Exchange variation. God. Yeah, it's a good thing I don't play the Royal Pez seriously. Is this the right position? Yes. It turns out it's not your turn. You said 2 times. I wasn't really reading the stream. You've got a bad color for your name, Shansha. It's kind of faded looking. And for some reason your chat doesn't stand out to me. I'm sorry about that. It's like this dull green. And I'm like, oh no, that doesn't even count as chat. It's the dull green color of your chat name. It's just like I don't even see it. You re-challenged me. Alright, dude, you'll live. I don't know what this is called. This has to have a name. It's such an interesting line, but I never really did learn the terminology of this variation. Now, Queen F6, I believe. Now it's red. That's better. Now I notice you. No, you guys just keep in mind that when I'm streaming, I'm using two laptops. See me turning to the left a lot. So I've got the commentary. I've got the Twitch chat on the other side, and I'm not watching it constantly. So sometimes I do miss stuff. All eyes on the board at all times. That's kind of how we operate here. And when I'm free for a moment, I'm checking out the chat, the fishing pole. God, where's Dr. Checkmate? He probably knows about the fishing pole. He's probably heard enough of that to last a lifetime. I think on BD2. Is Dr. Checkmate still here? Notice me. You're red, I notice you. Now it's red. Okay, we got 3 challenges. Shah is first, and then Royal Python and Fortuit Folier. Fortuit Folier with the maximum 5-8. It's a little bit big on the increment, the 5-8. We don't really need more than like 5-5. But I mean, whatever. It's probably no longer than like 8-3. So tell me more, Jeroen, about that Olympiad pairing. It was Netherlands against Belarus. I don't even know who's from Belarus. Alexander Rostomov. What's the Belarus team like? A lot of young guys? I've probably never even heard of. Well, the Dutch team, you know, has got to be playing well to be on board too. You definitely have more super GMs than Serbia. Moonbow. Ukraine-China board 1. Yeah, that's the only like super heavyweight match so far, I guess. It's my turn. How long have I let my clock run? Didn't notice. It's a bit of a problem because I'm not really a specialist in this line. I'm not even sure if that's the right move, or if I'm supposed to play bishop d6 or some bishop move first. Well, hopefully my memory serves me correctly. Everybody's ahead on time in the opening. Zagalkos. The Zagalkos. They're plural. I thought there was just one Zagalko. I didn't realize there was a plurality going on. B3 looks like a happy move. Kind of non-threatening. I know Sergei Zagalko, right? He's been around for a while. For quite a while. I mean, I actually remember the guy from like 15 years ago, being a kid. He must be like 30 or something. Bishop b2. But this looks like black should have a pretty strong attacking position. Not many GMs with little brothers who are GMs. How old is the younger one? But I mean, Belarus. I just can't think of young players from Belarus. Okay, D4 looks like a good move to challenge black. All right, guys. Pawn takes, bishop takes. Actually, what is this about here? Some kind of trick with E5? I'm just going to take it and ask questions later. This position is going to get really hairy. Yeah, I mean, I know that Sergei Zagalko is a strong player. I didn't know there was even a second one. But I mean, it's hard to keep track nowadays. Queen takes D4. What are our other options? Nothing really. Okay, so this ending, it looks holdable for black. I'm not real excited about it, but it's defensible. If I castle, he plays knight f5. I have to go back. If knight e7, knight c4, castles. I better play this. I think other moves are pretty dangerous here. It's a tricky variation, but it always ends up in some kind of slightly better ending for white. At least that's how it seems. I think that black should be okay here. We've got bishop c5. Do have to be careful, though. I mean, he does have a kingside majority, so I don't want to play a king and pawn ending in this game. I'm kind of happy he didn't take my bishop. Maybe I shouldn't be, though. Let's be careful. I'm not sure what I should do. F6 weakens the E6. Can't really afford that. I guess we're going to have to play this. Something like this move. Everybody's faster than me. It's kind of disturbing. Nobody takes their time. Except for, well, Troll, you're the only one. Everybody else is just faster than me. You guys watching too many bullet streams. Too much. You're watching too much Chess Network. I guess that should go. I don't have such a strong knight. White is slightly better, but I really don't want to live with that guy. On d4 anymore. Maybe a mistake. I don't know what I can do, though. It feels like my bishop is inferior to the knight on d4. White is definitely better now. The guitar player has played some good endings against me of late. We can't play rook d7. I want him coming here. Maybe these pawns are a little bit hanging pawns. Put some pressure on them. Not a great position though. But considering I don't know anything about the black side of the Lopez, and we're just kind of learning, I guess it's not so bad. We're just kind of making it up as we go along without any theoretical knowledge at all. I guess it's not the end of the world. You're not faster? You're the fastest. Anyone know if you close your account, can you reopen it? Well, this is not Poker Stars, but I'm sure they wouldn't let you. I doubt it, you know, but I mean, it's, you know, probably anything's possible, man, in this world. Rook d7. Rook e8 looked a little slow. Theoretically, I guess they could reopen it, but I'm not sure they would. Too many people with multiple accounts. It's got to be kind of a nightmare for the server. Have all these like extra accounts they have to maintain. Although I guess it's not that big a deal. Maybe not that much maintenance required. King g3 is a good move. Just creeping toward the center. g5. A rook e8 or rook d8 and then g5 maybe. c5. What about b5? Not really good. I feel like I'm playing like Rubinstein or something. I don't think I'd play any rated games with Guitar Player. With that rating distribution, classical is higher than the blitz. Kind of scary. I mean, I would think you're this really slow player, but you're actually fast. It seems kind of strange. I mean, for a guy who's like 1800 in blitz and 1800 in bullet, you play very well, very quick. You should be higher rated in blitz. f4, good move. Completely on our back foot here. He's playing like Akiba. Just totally reduced to passivity. Yeah, it's like I'm playing Capablanca or Rubinstein. That's how I feel here. We're just reduced to shuffling the rook back and forth. e5. No, I think we're going to go for the blockade here. Okay. Obviously, I'm happy with the draw. No, I'm just saying he plays really fast. I don't understand why his blitz isn't higher. I mean, we've played a lot. It's not like he's cheating or something. I'm just wondering why he's not like higher rated in blitz, because he seems to always be putting me in time pressure. He's only got 4 points to 17, so it's not like I'm accusing him of being a cheater. I just didn't mean to phrase it like that. But I don't understand why he's not higher rated in blitz, honestly. I mean, he's constantly faster than me, putting me in time pressure. And you would think that he'd be like 2100 in blitz if he could do that. So that's my question. Finally, he caved here, though. He let me play like rook d6 and rook takes e6. So I would think that he's stronger than that blitz rating. It's not like he's a slow player, you know, is what I'm trying to say. A lot of people are slow, and that's why they're weak in blitz. But guitar players like basically fast, in my opinion. So I don't understand the blitz rating at all. I don't know what to do. I'm just totally freaking out. The other thing is that he's always got a pretty good position. I don't think his score is indicative of the way he's played against me. Actually, he should have a lot more points than that 4 points, in my opinion. What am I going to do here? I have to break out. This night ending. Can't afford it. I can't afford to trade there. Knight d7. Trade. We're up a pawn in a night ending. Should be good winning chances. Although I never deserve to win this game. Offers me a draw. Well, now no. I'm up a pawn here. There's no way I can take a draw. Uh-oh. Alright, so... No, I think white is probably lost in this position. I'm not going to accept a draw in a winning position. But... you were clearly better the whole game. You certainly had your draw. I mean, if you could just repeat moves. Overly Vicious makes a point, right? Like, he was 1800 for a long time. This guy would just wreck you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's really good. I don't understand 1800. Maybe he just hasn't played Blitz in a while. I don't know, but he's only got 300 games in Blitz. Maybe he'd just be a lot higher. I don't know. But I think just focuses more on classical. He's fast. Alright, man, you just should have taken the draw, I guess, but you were better, so I wouldn't take a draw either if I were you. I wouldn't take a draw either in that position. You're just clearly better, and, like, the whole game, until you, like, lost on time, basically. That's what I wanted to do, just frustrate him with this blockading strategy, but I'm sure that I was lost or close to lost, on the verge of lost. Like maybe it was like 1.4 advantage for white or something when it should be. Let's try to throw Shansha off a little bit here. No, I want to play e5 again. You just hang pieces a lot, guitar player. But I mean, you're just constantly putting me under pressure on the clock. And your score of like 4 points out of 20 something is ridiculous, because almost every game you're like fighting me tooth and nail, it seems like. Yeah, so you always make a blunder at the end. But your overall game is like strong expert strength. I mean, maybe we wouldn't call you a master exactly, but I mean, I think you're pushing it. That game you played like a strong master, for example, until the end. Bishop a4. So I wouldn't want to play somebody like that. I mean, if it's a rated game, I don't want to play people who play like masters, who are rated 1800 in blitz. Knight f6. You never know what you're getting here on Lichess. The ratings are a little bit inflated compared to like over the board ratings. So I think a Lichess 1800 would be like a 1700 over the board. But there's no way that he played 1700. That could have been like a famous game from the 1950 or something, and between, I don't know, two grandmasters until the end when he like lost on time. Lost because of time, I should say. It was just like a Rubinstein game out of a book. I mean, he had this perfect king move, king g3, and white is just clearly better in that ending. Bishop b3. It's not really a safe variation for black, though. Not something I want to play without really knowing it. Yeah, the white side it's not an easy variation to play. I don't know, guitar player. Once you beat me in the ending already, and I feel like your endgame is good for your level. Maybe the middle game. It's definitely not your openings. Which is probably where you should be. Openings are kind of overrated, so Shansha is kind of an opening file. He seems like he's, focuses more on theoretical things. I got my tactics up to 1960 today. Jerry Silman's Endgame course. Yeah, I heard someone else recommend that. I haven't seen it. I mean, it's not like a new book, but I don't think I ever like leafed through a copy of the Silman Endgame course. But I did hear recently somebody else talk about that. I respect Silman. A lot of people like lump him in with these authors who crank out a lot of books, who aren't like GMs or whatever. But he's a chess teacher and he's a thoughtful author. So I really, it's not like Pandolfini or something. He's a pretty strong player who writes like well thought out books. So I would recommend the Silman. Pretty much anything he's done has mostly been good. Caldas says in long endgames I'm decent at endgames, but in 5 to 8 minute games I usually don't have enough time. Absolutely. Yesterday against Shansha, the same guy, I was angry because he was putting me in, like, it was my first game of the stream, and he was putting me in this brutal time pressure, and I had to make every single move in the king and pawn ending with like 3 seconds. I had no base time left. I was down to my increments basically, and I just, couldn't find the right move in a king and pawn endgame where I have to find perfect moves. It's very tough to play perfectly. Shasha, what are you doing? Are you disconnected? Yeah, he's got disconnected. He's had internet problems. I would think in Iceland you guys would have like perfect internet. I don't know why. It just seems like if nothing else, a country like Iceland should have perfect internet. He's stealing his neighbor's Wi-Fi or something. FM Howard Roseman. I'm playing in the Olympiad and have Crohn's disease. Since I don't have to inform an arbiter every time I use... Ah, man. It must be like, Rook E1. Yeah, that's a weird move. Maybe I need to learn some openings. Werenfeld says. I'm 2,000 in tactic. Yeah, I mean, Silman I don't lump in with, like, the cheap chess authors, like, out to make a buck. I mean, he's definitely... he gears a lot of his books to amateurs, but, I mean, his books are, like, again, thoughtful. It's not just garbage. And he's a qualified international master. He's not a weak IM, He didn't buy his IM title. He's a good player. He was like 2,500 US. The same strength as me, approximately. He's legit. I don't really know Silman. I never met him personally. I mean, I've played at a tournament where he was there, but I actually don't really know a lot of the West Coast players of his generation. I played all my life on the East Coast tournaments in the U.S. mostly, and never really got to know a lot of the West Coast players. California chess players, I'm not really very well knowledgeable of. Does that make sense grammatically? No, but I couldn't think of something better to say. Not very knowledgeable of. Sounds decent. I want to play knight on fd7, but it allows bishop d5. Yeah, I guess I have to do the old school thing here. The one thing I like about this position is his rook on e1. But again, it's normal, I guess, to play knight d. Yeah, this is completely normal position. I've actually played this with white before. It's funny to face it, though, with black. You kind of had the feeling like, well, his rook should be on f1 to support f4. That would never be the case in, like, a normal open Lopez, or a normal Lopez where white plays d4. But here, where white's not playing d4, it feels like, oh, the rook should support f4. But this is a totally standard position. I definitely had this with white. But he's used a lot of time because of his internet connection, I think. This is not... He didn't think for like 3 minutes on one move. How can I give him more time? I don't normally like to do that, but... Oh, here. It's so arbitrary, this give 15 seconds. I'm going to give him another minute because he... I think he basically like had lost his internet. I never give people more time, but it's just obvious in this case. Just play knight c6. I don't know. That's the problem with playing openings you're not used to. I'm not really sure what the right plan is here. We play like a sort of standard setup. Queen c7 looks lame. Alright. Let's get a rook e8, bishop f8, and try to reinforce the e5. We'll just pretend it's like a King's Indian. It's not boring to play every day the same players. Well, Hari Shiva, I was in the U.S. for 2 months. I really haven't faced the same players every day. It's usually a little bit different. It does get a little monotonous if it's going on for like weeks at a time. But usually we get enough different players. There are some holdouts. Guys, don't forget to check out my channel on YouTube, Video Chess Training. I think today we're finally going to get a chance to put a new video up on the channel. Yesterday it was raining, and I can't record videos in my office because the rain just makes that horrible noise. Knight f1, bishop f8. This is such a high level. My knight is coming back to the center. Well, it's higher level than average. It's not that high level, but we try. I wonder about bishop g5 there, Sean Scheif, if you should have played bishop g5. Then if you do that, I could go back to e7 with the bishop, so it's not, maybe not that big a deal. True. This is probably misplayed by me somehow. I'm not used to playing this with black. It looks like white's a little better. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not cut out to play the black side of double king pawn. It's just so much different than playing the Sicilian. Positions are a lot more closed, which seems like something that, as I mentioned, I'm not really comfortable with. If you guys have any questions, fire away with the questions in the chat room. I'll just go ahead and bookmark the channel. Haven't done much with the channel, but I do upload the streams that come out well. If it's split up into several pieces, I had a problem or something, I might not upload the stream to YouTube. But the streams that go well, I will generally upload. Now g6. We could play knight a5. I'm just teasing you. I just want to get your hopes up and dash them. White is slightly better here, in my opinion. I guess I should take a draw. I mean, if this was a grandmaster or an IM who was white, if it was a title player of my rating or better, I would probably accept a draw there. Now he plays a4. I don't know, I could abandon the A file, but that doesn't seem like a positive development. Fighting for d5 indirectly. This is the important thing to remember, guys, when you're black or white in this kind of position. The d5 square is the most important square. You don't want that to like fall into white's control if you're playing black. Strategically, it's kind of like the Sicilian defense. Now knight f5. I can play knight e7, right? Again, d5 is really super controlled. Got a8 protected by the bishop, so my queen doesn't get drawn away from d6. Wow, knight h4. Kind of a problem, knight h4. Yeah, this looks like... It's kind of looking like a... I want to say like a standard position for this line. Probably find some games. d5, bishop g5. Maybe I should play h6. Kind of weakening the king side a bit. But I don't want him getting a knight on h6. And now he's threatening knight takes h6 check. Rook e6 allows bishop b3. Maybe that's not a problem though. Rook e6, bishop b3. Maybe it is a problem. No, I didn't expect that. Now I can take with the queen. I'm so happy I gave him that extra minute. I'm a natural. Focusing on the d5 square. That is kind of deep, actually. White's played pretty well. Queen h3. What's that about? If you don't mind my asking. It was the first time when I felt like there was anything remotely positive about Black's position. Is right now. So I kind of want to play c4, as you can see. We were complaining yesterday Shansha was playing too quickly, but now he's a little on the defensive, but maybe not forever. I was thinking c4. I'm not really sure that I want to do that. We don't have too much time to mess around here. Well, this abandons the center. I can't draw my e5 pawn. I wanted to play rook a6. I can't really afford to do that. d4. d4 is bad because of bishop b3. For lack of a better move. Now knight takes or bishop takes. Taking on d3, not an option. I don't really want to ruin my pawn structure here. Yeah, I was thinking about this. Giving up a bishop. Kind of reduces attacking prospects. Well, oh, Completely missed that move. I'm so glad I gave him the extra time. Almost made a blunder there. He's got one pawn for a piece. That's kind of disturbing. You gotta be kidding me. I actually screwed this up. So ridiculous. I'm like up a piece and I'm not gonna win. There's always hope. I feel so like a little kid. Good game. Good game. Overall, that's quality chess at the end there. Real Python has the second challenge going, but I don't really want to accept a second challenge. It was such a disaster how I played the knight up endgame there. Terrible. It should be winning, but I traded pawns on the king's side. G6 was probably a bad move. 4-2 at Folier. Been waiting for this challenge for a while. Sorry if I didn't take your challenge when it was in order. Miniature by Wei Yi. Probably not the first one. Cash scores. Cash score. Kryptonite was banned from discussion. No second 960? Well, yeah, but I just don't normally, I don't normally... Oh, it's Royal Python. I'm sorry, dude. I thought you were Troll. I'm crazy. I'm so sorry, Royal Python. I was thinking that you were Troll challenging me to a second 960. I totally spaced. Because I'm not used to you being here on the stream. I don't know why. Yeah. Oh yeah, just hang out and we'll play the next game. I was like, what? This is weird. Why is Troll challenging me to a second 960 game? You have to be here more often. We forget who you are. Yeah, Wei Yi from the Olympiad, huh? But are you guys looking at a game from the early rounds? I'm trying to move twice. See what happens when I get distracted. I start doing crazy stuff. Overly vicious. Guys, we got about an hour left in the stream, so I'm going to play Royal Python, Sheppy, Geese. The Booker Smith is challenging me. This is, I believe, called the Alekhine variation. But actually, no, he played it without knight f6. I'm not sure what they call this. I guess it's just the Archangel. But normally in the Archangel, you play b5 first. I don't know what this is exactly called. Maybe the... I'm not sure, actually. I had a friend, a roommate, an old roommate of mine, who used to play this back in my college days, when I was like 2300. I had a roommate. I was teaching him to play chess from basically level 0, and he got up to 1700, which I thought was pretty impressive. Recently got back in contact with him, and actually got him to join here on Lichess. Bishop c5. I know that knight takes e5 is a move. Probably not that dangerous. A c3 is definitely... Yeah, welcome everybody to the stream. We're warmed up now. It's usually like kind of rough in the first few games for me because it's morning here in Europe and I'm usually a little bit sleepy when I start the stream. But my brain functions best in the morning after I kind of wake up after about an hour. So we're right at that point now when I feel like my performance is usually at its peak. Although with Blitz, it sort of helps if you play some warm-up games. Usually my quality of chess is not that great. Sean Shaw last game was a good game, I thought, for both sides, till the end when it got random because of the time pressure. I'm up a piece and an ending, and I can't win. He's like drawing and he blunders. I think it was a draw, right? Maybe there's some weird way it's a win, but if he just went to the other side with his king, it's probably a draw. Okay, Saronche, take care, man. Have fun watching the Dutch Olympiad team. The Chess Olympics are going on in Baku, Azerbaijan, if you don't know. I can't blame you because chess Olympiads are not, on the front page of the newspaper, but anyway, it's only happening every 2 years, I guess. Knight takes e4. And we're in a roommate variation, I think. Close to it. Usually he would play b5 earlier. But this looks like, I want to say like Riga variation maybe? I'm trying to think what it's called. There is a line like d4, e takes d, rook e1, f5, I want to say. Very dangerous to take this pawn here. White has a lot of moves. I mean, I have queen e2, rook, not rook e1, queen e2, d4. But d4 feels right. It's not that clear. This 5-5 is the hardest time control for me to play because I can't really decide if it's 5-minute or like if it's a classical game. Bishop d6, huh? I expected bishop e7 or no, I expected takes. Bishop d7, bishop d6 kind of makes some sense because it keeps the e7 square for the knight to go back. It feels like I should like win a piece around here. Pawn takes pawn. Oh man, I don't know about this. This is kind of bizarre. I'm not sure this is even the right move. I don't know if that helps me here. Problem is sometimes this queen is coming down to h4. I definitely thought you should recapture there. Maybe not though. Do you think I have queen d5? So take queen d5, forking pieces, and then queen h4. Yeah, okay. So that wasn't possible. Then bishop d6 was a definite blunder. Yeah, I didn't see the queen d5. That's a normal theme though. I think this is all, you know, basically this bishop here is pinning the pawn. Mostly black plays b5 early on. And that's probably why. We don't have to take the knight, but do I have anything better? Bishop g5 doesn't look. Problem is 97. So anyway, this should be good for white. Two healthy minor pieces. Bishop g5. Or just knight. Bishop c2 is also interesting. That's what I wanted to click. Highlighting the h7 square. I don't want him to get an f6, you know, in a good way. So if I can put pressure on h7 first, then he'll never be able to play f6 without just drastically weakening his king side. 97. That's probably the best move. Defending the king side. And now he's toying with f5 again. Alright. Subtle threat. Bishop g5. Complete the development. It should be a winning position for white. Although, you know, technically he has a rook and a pawn for two minor pieces. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it's not winning. Maybe just better. But like clearly better. And seriously, not a fun position for black. In order to free his position, he's going to have to make some kind of pretty serious weakening of his pawn structure. Whether it's d6 or f6 or h6. And then I think white's advantage becomes really magnified. We're threatening this. And maybe to bring my rook in the game. You see his queen side is undeveloped. Earlier I was asking what we call this, what we should call this variation. I didn't say, maybe it's a transposition to like a classical Spanish. Maybe the simplest definition of what variation this is. So he's dropping this pawn and then white has a clear advantage. Bishop f5. Saving the pawn actually. Not saving the pawn. We're not saving the pawn. Maybe we just take. Yeah. Alright. I'm just going to take it. I can play like rook e8. But I'm going to play rook e1. I can protect my guy. That's it, man. G-O. Anyway, I think it was lost. For black. This was an instructive game, though. Risky variation for black. I think you need to play b5. It's better to play b5 first. And then either play bishop b7 or bishop c5 after that. Could run stockfish and give you the best moves. We don't have to tell anyone. Yeah. We wouldn't be the first person to do that. That's an original idea. Very creative. Rook e8. So knight d6 is one simple solution, I guess. A family fork. GG. Yeah, I got to rethink the opening there. The move order is very, very important. But I think after d4 by me, you have to take it, allow a pin on the e file, and then maybe play f5 or something. If I don't remember incorrectly. Nothing you can do here. I don't know, maybe the knight's better on c2. I think Royal Python, I prefer c2. Where in the English, the knight has, this is basically in English, right? The knight has better future. Although knight b3, it's not like it's a big mistake. D6, E6 or B6 or D6. I'm not a big fan of knights on this knight 3 square. You guys know that. It's almost always badly placed there. But of course, in this Sicilian English type of structure, I mean, if he plays D4, I am probably going to have to take. So if we think about that aspect of this opening, if I'm going to be forced to take when he plays d4, then his whole knight b3 is a reasonable formation. Tactics. I can't let him ever take on c5. So I wanted to exploit the knight on b3. Can't really do it unless you leave it, at least you don't take on d4, which is an interesting option. To play the position and like let white play d4 and then just try to keep the knight bottled up on b3 rather than taking is an interesting possibility. I guess if I want to do something like that, I have to play d6. It starts to look kind of dubious for black. One piece of advice though, I don't think that it's a bad idea to do what I'm doing here and take a lot of time in a chess 960 right in the beginning. Maybe spend 2 minutes on one move because you just kind of got to get acclimated to where the pieces are. Yeah, I'm going to be streaming for another 45, 50 minutes. So I think we're acclimated to where the pieces are here at this point. B6, I was thinking D6. We also have to think about how the bishops are going to get out. I'd like to fianchetto this guy and the other one. Alright. Made our decision. D6 may be the most natural move. I have two options later to deal with D4. Just leave it where it is or maybe capture. My rook would actually open on the C file. So I'm not sure he wants to do that or not. I'm thinking dragon with a long diagonal here. This bishop has a good diagonal here. Having said that, my knight needs to develop, so he'll have to wait a little bit. This guy's gonna have to wait to get into the game. He's kind of the queen's bishop. Our second chess 960 today, guys. We don't know which is the king side, which is the queen side, but I'm gonna call this the queen's bishop. I'm gonna call the left side. This is the port side over here. It's like a boat. We could just call it by classical chess terms, queen side and king side. I just think it's kind of a funny joke. It's getting kind of boring now. I realize. I'll give it a break. Knight c6. So we like our knights better on c2 in a sort of symmetrical English. It's got a good future going to like e6 and influencing the center from there. Whereas, you know, Royal Python's knight doesn't have a good future. The only good future it could have is if it like goes to d4. He could have played d4, but it was a question of what kind of formation he wants to get. I thought it was a very, very reasonable move to play d4 straight away on move 3. If he plays d4 here, and I capture, knight takes d4, and he's going to have some issues with a rook on c8, maybe. That's one reason that he didn't want to go into it. But I'm not sure that's enough reason. Guys, I have the PayPal button up on my channel for the first time this week. If you want to donate, please do so via PayPal. Appreciate it. If anybody who watches the stream could donate $5 a year, it would make a big difference in letting me be able to continue my work here. F4. We're going to take advantage of Royal Python being a little out of practice, hopefully. F4 looks a little risky, kind of weakening. Wouldn't be my first choice for white. Now he's focusing on d4. We're going to do the same. Got all these guys bearing down on d4. And we've got another one on the way via bishop g7. So I kind of like black here. He's got the same bishop. My only advantage could consist of the knight position being superior and the pawn structure weakening with f4, which looks a little bit loosening for white. Not anything like massive, but so this knight versus this knight, which is better? Classic question. I'll go give for Christmas. Yeah, somebody like used my... I found out yesterday the bank closed my debit card. Somebody like got my credit card number and was charging stuff at some restaurants in Texas yesterday and the day before. So that's really cool. Now they can make like copies, like clones of your credit card. Hopefully I'll get my money back. $500 at a Brazilian restaurant in Milton, Texas. I wanted to like call the restaurant and be like, look, dude, somebody there like just billed my credit card $400. I'm in Hungary. Like, do you check people's signatures on the bill? Credit card fraud. It's such a fun thing. Castles. Let's castle. Castle it up. What about the queens here? Like, what do they do? They, like, take some kind of old rechargeable credit card and like, make a clone of your credit card with it? Do they steal your information? Wonderful. Alright, Royal Python starting D4. We could play 96. I was thinking A6. $500 stake. I mean, they must have been like, you know, a whole gang of drug dealers, or maybe they just had a lot of drinks. I mean, it could be like 3 people who just had like... It's pretty easy to run it up to actually like $400. If you're drinking alcohol, I guess, at a bar with like 5 friends or something. I don't know, but... Actually, at an elegant restaurant, it's easy to have $400 bill. I'm lucky they didn't take them to like the Ritz-Carlton or something. D4. And we've got the structure now, the structural advantage. I went to the bank machine. I was like, why is my card not working? Thank God for fraud protection. You're always happy that, you know, they turn off your credit card sometimes when it's not necessary, but in this case it was good. C takes D4. Wait a minute here. Oh, you just played D4 without calcing it. You thought you had it more protected? I was like, what? Knight B6. So it's not that simple. Maybe just E5 here. Okay, this is not that simple, guys. It's mate on E7 is a big issue. He's got threats of like knight A5. I guess I should just try to take his A pawn. Seems kind of crazy. But what else to do? The mere mention of Ritz makes me want to go watch Guns N' Roses live at the Ritz. I saw Guns N' Roses once in Boston. I'm not a big Guns N' Roses or heavy metal fan by any means, but it was kind of funny to go to that concert. I mean, Guns N' Roses aren't really heavy metal. I don't, you know, what to call them, but how are they classified anyway as a band? They're just in their own genre. Hunting A pawns. The hunter of A pawns. That's pretty minimalist, you know. Pick this guy off. So, if you guys want to donate via PayPal, please don't steal my credit card information while you're doing it. It was just weird. I added my PayPal buttons to my stream, and the next day, like, my credit card information is gone. It actually has no connection to PayPal, though. Just the first one, I was like, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Alright, so now you're trying to trap my knight. I was looking at bishop A4 here. That was the plan, I think. It's actually a good move. I don't know what else I'm going to play. It's like only move. Thank God for bishop A4. My knight is virtually trapped. I mean, it doesn't want to go to A2 or C2. It can go to C2. I guess I could have played knight C2. Come to think of it, that's a really viable move. It may be better than what I did. Because this way I don't know. Okay, I'm still better here. Yeah, this is still good enough. It's funny how we're both playing with this queen, this like queen on h8 and h1. Classic rock, hard rock. Yeah, hard rock. That's what it would be classified as. Hard rock. I think I saw them at the Boston Garden. I can't remember. A takes b4. We are up a big juicy pawn here. Now what? We're just in our standard kind of accelerated dragon mode. It's totally normal to have a queen on h8 in the accelerated dragon, by the way. Does it matter if I go to c4 or a4 here? Alright, time is running, so don't want to take too much of it. Time is money. Yeah, ironically, after everything's said and done, it's this Larsenian queen on h8, which actually looks kind of normal. If you're familiar with the accelerated dragon, you'd understand what I mean. The games of Bent Larsen. It's totally standard to go like king h7, h5, king h7, queen h8 in the normal accelerated dragon. So here we are with this absolutely normal position. Bishop g4. Trying for... Aha. Thought you'd see it your way. Yeah, you're in the wheelhouse now, buddy. b5. Don't want to play b5. I don't want to play b5 unless I have to, but maybe now it's okay. Or maybe not. Totally missed rook c7. Damn, dude, can you defend any better? I'm going to just lose that pawn back by dropping a piece here, or what? Alright, something's got to give here. Python's just defending too well. You were supposed to be, like, getting married or something, not practicing your chess game. Why are you playing so well? Stop playing so well. Totally freaking out. Alright, I can win a pawn. Ought to do it. This looks good enough. Definitely not good to think too long there. That's got to be a winning pawn. Still not that easy. Whoa, click the wrong button. That's my one argument with... I hate the one fact about browser-based chess sites. You can just click the screen and weird stuff happens. Good game. Very complex. Typical chess 960. Why is every game so close when it's chess 960? Sheppy is challenging me. Geese, the Booker Smith. We're going to play those 3 games. Tough struggle there. What was that move? Stop learning. What's that? I'm trying to catch up with the stream here. Please pray for me. Oh, dude. Somebody time him out for that. You don't need to know about that kind of stuff, dude. Alright. I was definitely a little bit worried about that game. I let it get out of control right around the time when he played rook c7. I forgot when I played b5. He could play rook c7 there. Definitely didn't enjoy that. It's been a while since I played Sheppy in the King's Indian. I don't really remember what he plays. I asked what that move was when you moved all the pieces. It was clicking the wrong button that, like, resets the board. Yeah, that's actually a really kind of weird feature of Lichess that I'm not sure I really like. The fact that you can, like, kind of analyze past positions while you're playing the game. I mean, go back on the board. I don't think it, I don't think it should really be allowed. I'm not sure you can derive any direct benefit, but it's almost like being able to analyze on the board by going back positions. I guess it doesn't hurt anything. But I just simply went back with the back arrow. And, okay, Sheppy now with g3. I don't recall if you played that before. I guess it was. So what are we going to do? Yeah, let's play c5. Actually, I would prefer to play it like a move earlier. Just try something different, something totally different. He played bishop g2. We transposed to the English. He didn't call my bluff there. I don't really play mainline Benoni, so he could have played d5. I was kind of hoping he wouldn't be comfortable with that structure as well. Because basically, so it's good that Lichess lets us do this. Basically, I mean, d5 is the best move for white. But myself and a lot of players aren't really that comfortable in those type of structures. Sheppy played knight c2 now. This is very early to play this move. And although it's very normal in the Marazzi, you don't really see white doing this here in the symmetrical English very often. Pulling the knight away from the center. It's a normal positional idea. In the Marazzi, where there's like a pawn on e4. But you don't see it here with the open bishop on the diagonal in the symmetrical English too often. I'm just wondering, what does that mean, really? I think bishop e6 is one way to play. Then he plays knight d5. Yeah, actually, I'm not happy with that. Bishop e6, knight d5. And that's a problem, because queen d7, bishop g5, and suddenly I'm going to have to take with the bishop on d5, which Seems to give white some advantage. I'm not really sure, guys, what I'm supposed to do here. The move should be obvious. Bishop d7, I guess. It's a little more passive than bishop e6, but we're able to capture knights that come to d5. Okay, so we have a theoretical position where white has played knight c2 voluntarily. What does that really mean? Theoretically, it's not supposed to be dangerous for black. It doesn't make it easy to play. He played queen d2. There's this guy from Hungary, Ichak Jula, who's like a 2500 IM. He would always play this type of thing with white. It's kind of harmless, but he's like an expert in harmless positions and has this like excellent endgame technique. So he was able to like basically be a 2500 like almost GM rated player and never ever even plays any kind of like remotely aggressive type of setup. It's not easy to do that without the perfect endgame technique. So I guess we should be playing for b5, a6, rook b8, and b5. Queen d2 is actually looks strange to some people, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, white wants to play b3 and bishop b2. He actually didn't need to play it. There's no reason. I don't think he has a problem with b3 here. The point is your knight protects the rook on a1. So if black tries some fancy thing like knight e4, you just take with the bishop and you give up. No, you take with the knight and you give up a rook for a knight, but rook for bishop, it's good. You win a piece. You win 2 pieces for a rook, basically. So it's not good for... It's not even necessary to play queen d2, but it's a good move anyway because he could need a square for the queen in any case, so I don't think that it makes a difference if he plays b3 or queen d2 first. It's sort of the same thing. Very solid formation. I'm just wondering if there's something else I could do earlier to try to exploit this. You could opt for a different setup altogether, maybe b6, and like counter his bishop with bishop b7. But basically my only option would be to choose like an completely alternative formation. So a4 now. This move is sort of debatable. I'm always uncomfortable playing that when I'm white. It does weaken the b3 square. So it's something of a kind of compromise. If he just gets a lot of space on the queen side without any compensation, I'm going to be hurting. But I think that when I'm white, I normally am reticent to do this because bad things have happened to me when I have done that in the past. So we learn from our mistakes. But nevertheless, like a logical positional idea, clamping down on b5. He could lift the rook. Alright. Obviously b5 is out now. That is no longer an option. So here we have some pressure on the c3 knight. We get our queen out and hopefully have enough room to maneuver. The mods are away. Trolls will play. Oh man. Well, I'm not threatening anything. That's always good. I had this philosophical discussion with one of my students the other day about like what exactly constitutes a threat, and that was kind of an interesting discussion we had about it. Where do you actually decide what something is a threat? Like winning a pawn, a forcing move. Is it like just winning the bishop pair? Is that a threat? If you're gonna like get a bishop for a knight, if you capture a bishop with a knight, is that a threat or not? It's kind of interesting. I never really thought about it in the philosophical kind of way. So this is what I really wanted to do. Not like I've necessarily got some devastating attack, because White's kingside should be safe enough, but when White has a space advantage, as he does here with the clamp down on d5 and the queen side, I just wouldn't mind maybe trading a piece with bishop h3, getting a little more mobility for my pieces. My queen is obviously really boxed in at d8, and it's just breathing freely out here with the queen on h5 makes it a lot better. It's not that I'm really going to be able to like checkmate him on h2. Just there are some traps, of course, but I really just want my pieces to have like, free range of movement. Yeah, I was kind of of the opinion that a threat can be basically, anything, any kind of attempt to gain an advantage of any sort. Threatening to control the b4 square, Sheppy. It looks like Sheppy blundered, but I could be getting my queen trapped. I don't think so. I think he just blundered with knight g4. He's not losing a piece, ironically. But I think the result of this position should be favorable. Favorable for black. Be careful my queen doesn't get trapped. I don't believe it should. Now here we have to think for a minute. This is not a no-brainer. Bishop takes b2 was my plan. Maybe it is a no-brainer, actually. Yeah, I guess it is a no-brainer. I was thinking about knight takes f2. That's crazy. Alright. Never mind, it is a no-brainer. And we have lots of squares for the queen, so it's not like it's getting trapped. Most of the games I'm playing are classical. Sheppy challenged me to rated. I do recommend you guys play rated games. I've got to be a little careful how I do this, actually. Queen takes d4, maybe. Queen takes g4. How about queen takes g4? Anybody have a problem with that? If you have a problem with that, let me know, because I don't care. Rated game alert. What I was going to say was, I recommend you play rated games on a site like this because people tend to not take the game seriously. I've had this problem with one of my students I've been working with. It feels like he's playing casual, and the people just a lot of times just don't care because the game's not rated. If you want to play training games, if you're playing online, you should try to get the most out of it, and it seems like people don't try as hard when it's not rated. Against me, because it's a stream and stuff, it seems like that's not really true. People are taking it pretty seriously. But in general, yeah, I think I'm going to recommend that most people stick with the rated games, unless you're streaming and for some reason people really want to try against you. You want to get the most out of it. You want your opponent to try as hard as possible because you want to learn, and that's the idea. If you just get a kick out of beating people because, you know, winning like is fun, then maybe the casual games are better. Knight takes e7. Combo. It's a combo. Think I just moved too quickly. Although I don't know how many options I really had there. You know, this is actually quite complicated. I thought I was just winning a piece for sure, but I had a momentary pause. Momentary pause. But I'm winning here. Aren't I winning here? Shippy actually made a really bad blunder against me the other day from a good position in the Sicilian. Wow, this is like f3. You had f3 in that position. I don't see how I'm winning a piece after f3. Black is maybe better, but I don't think I'm not sure I'm winning, man. I mean, f3, where's my move? Maybe I have a win that I didn't see. But queen f5, e4. And I don't think I'm winning a piece. I think you're okay. And you have rook takes e2, rook f2 at the end of these lines. Maybe I'm winning somehow with some tricky move like... I don't see it. Like, look, f3, or rook e8, f3. For example, queen h5, queen h4. No, I don't know. That's a good game, but I don't think you have to lose a piece. Geese. Knight e3. I got horse. A little bit. Not really. I just sound like a horse. Yeah, I thought I might have a little cold or allergy. I'm not sure. There's all kinds of weird... I have this really strong allergy to some kind of plant in Hungary, usually in the summer, and I don't know if it's ragweed probably or something like that, but whatever it is, it doesn't exist in large quantities in the United States. I remember the first time I came to Budapest in 97 or 98, I would have these like massive sneezing attacks. I would sneeze like 20 times in a row. It might be that. We haven't played a proper Slav in ages. This move I think is a little bit underrated, only because it's kind of gone out of fashion. A lot of players have like just failed to really study how to deal with e3, and a few years ago I noticed that Beliavsky was playing it, which is kind of interesting. f3 is a disaster after rook e2, but you have rook f2. I mean, you're not losing a piece, and you're up a pawn. But you have knight e3. So you had simply knight e3. Goes to show you what I know. You have just knight e3, and I have to play queen takes e2. But that's a problem. Yeah, that's fine too. It's probably okay for white. It's probably about equal. So just panic. Interesting game. But I don't think you should allow knight g4. Maybe you have to play f3 or something. Bishop d7. That's not a typical move, but it might be existing in theory. Never face this. Why not, right? Booker Smith, your challenge disappeared. Yeah, I remember you were there. That'll probably be the last game of the stream, guys. I'm Tactesian. FM Tactesian from Cape Verde. Wow. Impressive. Booker Smith should be next. Crapool, another good rating, 2136. I'd love to play you guys, but I have to go after these last two games. So Bishop d7, yeah, it's a little weird, but I don't think that it's like clearly bad. e6, maybe b3. Looks kind of standard. I don't really know what else to do. If b3, bishop b4, bishop d2, queen a5, I take on b5. b3, bishop b4, bishop d2 is okay. Yeah, I have gotten a little hoarse, but it's not real bad. That's true. It's just a little cold or something. Nothing too serious. I feel like I could... I think we're on Lichess TV or something. There's a lot of spectators. That's weird. We never get on Lichess TV. I allowed b3. Well... maybe this was a big mistake. But chess is a complicated game. He's got this protected passed pawn from hell here. We're just going to have to live with it. Knight f4. Maybe a5 is worth considering. It's worth considering because I don't really want him to be able to protect this pawn again. Since I have this move available, I'm going to go for it. I don't really want him to be able to play a5 and guard these protected passed pawn. What do you call this even? This protected passed pawn formation? Well, I've been duped, it seems. Just think like Beliavsky, and you're always good. Pretend you're Beliavsky. Put yourself in his place. White has to face this very gruesome pawn here. So that's basically a winning pawn structure if something bad doesn't happen to black in the interim. Before the endgame, the gods have placed the middle game. Wow, that's a very insightful move. He saw the threat of queen f3. He saw the threat of queen f3. Maybe he just found this by accident. White's pretty active now. You've got to admit. So we're just going to go on the offensive. As much as I'd like to play like g4, it looks a little dodgy. Most players call it the Slav. We know what the Slav is, obviously. Maybe some sacrifice on e6. It's a nice fantasy. Just trying to outstrip black in development. This is an idea, you know, to go totally postal on the king side. Maybe my rook could even get in the game via a2 across. But it's a mistake to allow this b4 move. Do I go crazy with g4 or just h4? Another option with a spatial type of advantage on the king side. It's probably best to just castle and bring the rook to the file. In some instances, the rook to the file would be good. Push d5 and create mayhem has been called. Yeah, actually, d5 is a dangerous idea. He played queen c8. I guess the problem with d5 is he just takes. I take with the knight, and then he takes. Gets mated there. I guess this is a good try. Who was it? Articum, what's up? Well, he just took. But I think his position is actually fairly solid. I'm not at all convinced I have anything here. In fact, I mean, d5 might have been a mistake. No, I think it was good. What else can I do? We need to get this bishop in the game, though. Missed that move altogether. Not sure if it's a good one or not. Gotta take. e4. Knight b6. I don't know if this was even a good move. It definitely forces him to make a reasonable move. Whatever he does, he'll probably block his rook with queen c7 or queen b7, kind of boxing his own rook on a7. But I'm not sure it's enough for me here. Whatever compensation I have for this pawn is probably not enough. Black should be better. I guess e4. We've got to play chess. Go before he has time to really consolidate his position. Wow. Bishop f4. knight e5. He's got knight d4 sometimes. This looks pretty dubious. I'm opting not to play bishop f4. I think it just may be a mistake. This may be a mistake too, but no, I'm willing to let him trade this for my white squared bishop, I guess. I don't really have a choice which way to take here with the queen. Just don't have any compensation for this devastating pawn on c3. Dude, you had knight g4, threatening mate, and the bishop on g5. That was very, very hard for me to deal with. Bishop takes f6, probably my best chance, I guess. And we're in the game. This was really lost for me. Now at least I have hope. There is hope now. With a good knight and a blockade on the white squares, it's actually kingside majority for white, so it's not so easy for black now. I think knight g4 was just a forced win. I have to play f4, bishop takes g5, and I can play something like knight d5 and h3. Maybe I can avoid losing a piece, but that would be the best I could do. Best case scenario, just avoid losing a piece but have a lost position, more or less, strategically. I'm not sure if I can even avoid losing the piece there. Not really sure what to do now. e5. f5. This is tough. I mean, part of me wants to play g3, but my king is kind of exposed no matter what I do. You just have to go for it, I guess. Best move. All right, I guess I'm lost here. Wow. Now I'm not so sure. Still, he's better. I could actually take on e7 now. Even with this crazy move g6, black is still better. I mean f6, g6. Well, I don't know. Now it's kind of a mess, honestly. I think white got it under control. We should actually take a little time to think. Rook g7 is an issue. Maybe I'm just still lost. Yeah, I guess so. Whoa, rook g5. Wow. Alright. Yeah. I'm not sure about this. What is going on around here? Oh man. Not the best move by me there. Nothing to do here. Good game, man. Yeah, well, a really nice game. Rated game. Whoa, I didn't realize it was rated. You've never challenged me to rated before, have you? Man, dude. What a play, man. What a play for the one day you played the rated game against me. Nice game. Crusader of Hope. How did you know to play the rated game today? That's the big question. Because normally you challenge me to unrated. So that's kind of weird. Alright, dude. I don't think I was... Yeah, you never challenged me to rated. And you've never beaten me before. But the one day you challenged me to rated, you beat me. That's amazing. Anyway, guys. Stealth rated. Yeah, he tricked me. Was always unrated with geese. So. Alright, good game. We'll see you guys later. We'll be playing tomorrow at 10 a.m. CET. I don't think I could have saved this game. I mean, he really tried his best to give me a chance, but I don't think I could have saved it. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central European Summer Time. And we'll be back then. So check out my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube. And also, if you're interested in any kind of chess training, give me an email, videochesstrainer@gmail.com. I want to thank Saronche for being here before. And Guitar Player Bruh, you guys for moderating. Doing a pretty good job moderating the chat, although some creepy chat has crept through. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.